Monday the Dietitian, and welcome to Healthy Made Simple, where I show you how to make healthy eating simple. In this video, I'm going to be sharing some sweet snacks that are also healthy options. Now, I personally have quite the sweet tooth. I tend to have sweet cravings pretty often. On most days of the week, right around that 4 to 5 o'clock range in the afternoon is when I tend to crave something sweet. And I like to have some healthy options on hand that I can incorporate, so I'm not always reaching for sweets and desserts. Now, these options that I'm going to talk about are not meant to actually curb any certain cravings that you might be having. I mean, if I'm craving a chocolate chip cookie, no amount of fruit or honey is going to take the place of that. The only thing that's going to satisfy a chocolate chip cookie craving is going to be a chocolate chip cookie. But I also know that considering how often I tend to have these sweet cravings, I can't always reach for the chocolate chip cookies. But there are some other delicious, healthy options that I can incorporate that are also going to help satisfy that little bit of sweetness that I'm looking for in the afternoons, right? Between, the lunch to dinner time, usually about 2 hours off of dinner. Now, if you are interested, if you're like me, you're looking for some sweet snack options that are also healthy, stay tuned for these 3 healthy choices that I'm going to be showing you. Alrighty, let's go. Alrighty, the first sweet snack I have is going to be almond butter honey toast. Now you can customize it in different ways, but what I'm going to start out with is this Milton's Healthy Whole Grain Bread. And anytime I'm using whole grain bread, the first thing I'm looking for is that for that first ingredient to be whole wheat, which it is. It's whole wheat flour. And of course I look at the nutrition label to make sure it's higher in fiber, lower in sugar, and it's got some protein in there as well. So this bread I got from Costco, and this is a great option for those of you who want to switch to whole wheat bread but don't want all the different grains and seeds in there. This is a very plain whole wheat bread that actually tastes pretty good. So great option to be able to increase protein and fiber content of your snack. I'm going to start by toasting bread. I don't have a toaster, so I'm just using my mini toaster oven for that. And once my bread is toasted, I'm going to start by adding some almond butter. Now, with almond butter, what I'm looking for first is that it's unsalted, so I can cut back on the salt that's going to come in from the almond butter. And then the next thing I'm looking for is to make sure that ingredients list only says almonds. So I'm just getting pure almonds that have turned into almond butter. Now I'm going to spread my almond butter on top of my toast, and I'm going to be pretty generous with this. I want this to be a filling snack. Even though sweetness is what we're going for, we still want to make it filling, and the almond butter is higher in protein and healthy fats, which is going to make this a more filling snack. So I want to make sure that I spread a good layer on there so that it's not just the sweetness I'm tasting, but I get that almond butter in there too. And then once I get my almond butter on, the next thing I'm going to do is drizzle some honey. Now this is where the sweetness comes from. And with my honey, what I'm mainly looking for is that under that ingredients, it just says honey and nothing else, no added sugar, and it's just pure honey. All right, and I'm going to drizzle my honey to taste. Now, if I'm craving something that's a little bit more on the sweet side, I'm going to end up putting more honey. And if I'm not in the mood for super duper sweetness, then I could go with less. But since our goal is sweet snacks here, I'm going to be putting a decent amount of honey on there. And now to make sure it all gets incorporated nicely, I do take my knife just to mix the honey in gently with that almond butter so that it's still sitting on the top and that honey is going to hit my tongue, my taste buds, and give me that sweet taste, but it's blended in a little bit better so I'm not just getting a mouthful of honey when I eat it. And then the last item I'm going to add to round this off is going to be my hemp seeds. This is the Kirkland one. I get this from Costco and I keep it in the fridge and it lasts me a pretty long time. And hemp seeds, as you can see, the serving size is 3 tablespoons, which is a lot of hemp seeds. Now I'm not going to eat 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds in a day. So what I like to do is just incorporate hemp seeds wherever I can. And I'm going to use my 1/4 teaspoon measure to just sprinkle some hemp seeds on there. Now, this is going to be to taste. If you're not as familiar with hemp seeds, you can go with less. If you love them, you can go with more. You really can't go wrong with adding more of the hemp seeds, but just make sure you have a right balance of that sweetness that you're looking for in your snack versus kind of that nuttiness that you're getting from the hemp seeds, so that it still satisfies that sweet taste you're looking for, but you get the hemp seeds for an extra nutrient boost. And there we go, an easy almond butter honey toast for a nice sweet snack. Alrighty, now let's move on to the next one. Alrighty, my next sweet snack is going to be a smoothie. I'm sure everyone has heard of smoothies as a sweet option, so let me show you how I typically make mine. I'm going to use this 3-berry blend. This is from Costco, and I'm at the bottom of my barrel with my frozen fruits, so you'll see kind of whatever's left at the bottom of this bag, but I'm going to add the frozen fruit to a cup. I'm going to use my blender for this, of course. If you have a bigger blender, you can make bigger batches of this and keep them in your freezer to be used, in separate days, but this time around, I'm just going to make a big batch for me to split with my son. So besides the berry blend, I'm also using this Daybreak blend, which has peaches, mango, pineapples, and I believe maybe papayas, some tropical fruits. And there's a big chunk of frozen fruit in there, and I do like to fill it up as much as I can with frozen fruit while it's still going to blend. I don't necessarily measure. I kind of use that max line that there is on my cup to fill up my fruit at least to that point, and then do my fillings on top. Now with this, I'm going to add some almond butter as well. You'll see me use almond butter a lot. It's a great source of protein and healthy fats to really make my sweet snacks more filling. So I'm going to add a big spoonful of that. You can of course use other nut or seed butters. You could use peanut butter for this. You could use sunflower butter. Any option works that's going to add in some extra protein or healthy fats to make this more filling. Now, in addition to my almond butter, I'm also going to add in hemp seeds. As I mentioned earlier, since it's impossible for me to get that 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds in one sitting, I try to add it in wherever I can, and smoothies are a very easy way to be able to do that. I'm going to do 3/4 teaspoons. I'm going to use my 1/4 teaspoon measure to put in 3 heaping spoonfuls of that in there, and that typically tends to blend in pretty well. You could probably go with more, but I do like to kind of play heavily on the sweetness and not overload it so much with everything else. And I'm also going to add in some chia seeds for some extra fiber and some omega-3s as well. And as I mentioned in previous videos, chia seeds tend to lower my blood pressure a little bit too much, so I'm going to go with the smaller measure of 1/4 teaspoon, but you could easily do 3/4 teaspoons of chia seeds as well. And then I'm going to add in my milk of choice, which is going to be soy milk. Now, my son is allergic to dairy. His allergies have been getting a lot better, but he cannot drink cow's milk yet. So since this is going to be for both of us, I'm going to add in soy milk, which is what he drinks on a regular basis. Alrighty, and there's everything that's going to go into my smoothie. And then I'm going to get that blended up next to be ready to go. Now, when you're making these smoothies, if you want to make it even more filling, you can add in a protein powder. You can either use this Orgain collagen with the superfoods, which is about, I believe, 19 grams of protein in 1 scoop. And I also have the other option that you're going to see on there as well, which is the organic protein powder. And this one has 21 grams of protein, but that is for 2 scoops. And I noticed this one's a little bit thicker and doesn't blend as well. So typically when I'm making smoothies, I'll either do 1 spoon of this and 1 of that, but typically I like the collagen one better because it blends in much nicer. And there we go, there's my smoothie all blended together and ready to go to be poured into our cups. There is my son's sippy smoothie cup that I like to use, and there's that My Little Mason jar that I use. I'll include a link down below for these if you're interested in looking into them yourselves, but you'll see my smoothie is on the thicker side. I do prefer my smoothies to be thicker so that they feel more filling. And I'm just going to pour that into both of my cups. If you do end up using protein powder, I will say it does take away from the sweetness a little bit more, and it does make it thicker. So you may need more liquids in there, maybe a little less of the frozen fruit so that it blends in nicely, especially if you're making a big batch. And if it's not sweet enough for you with adding protein powder in, you can always drizzle some honey in there for some extra sweetness so that it's still a sweet smoothie, but it's also filling at the same time. And there we go, my smoothie is ready. I did give my son a majority of that smoothie and I just took the rest for myself. But this was a nice sweet snack for the both of us on an afternoon on the weekend so that we had something sweetness that was also refreshing at the same time and kind of kept us full for the next few hours until dinner time. There we go, there's my smoothie. All right, and the last one I have is going to be frozen blueberries. Now, this might sound silly, but if you've ever had frozen grapes, very similar idea. We buy this big bag from Costco, and we started doing frozen blueberries back when my son was teething, and we were desperate looking for something that was going to help him with his pain. And I discovered, hey, this is actually a pretty nice sweet snack. So anytime I'm looking for something refreshing and kind of light, frozen blueberries have been a great option. I just pour some in a bowl to be had. And of course, you can go based on however hungry you are, but they're a really great, refreshing option. Now, since it's just a fruit, it's not going to be filling enough on its own. So if you are having frozen blueberries, if you're willing to give this a try as a nice, sweet snack, I do suggest that you add something else on the side to make it a more well-rounded snack. So I would suggest pairing it with something that's a higher protein snack, kind of like a Kind bar, so that you have a more filling snack overall with your frozen fruits and your bar. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this helped give you ideas about some sweet snacks that are also healthy options that you can incorporate. If you are like me and you tend to crave sweets pretty often, you tend to have sugar cravings pretty often, don't fight your body on it. Just find healthy options that you can incorporate to help satisfy that sweetness that you're looking for. And a lot of these are very easy to make, so you can just continue to make them throughout the week. You can even make some of it in advance, such as smoothies. You can make smoothies in advance and keep them in mason jars or containers in the freezer to be defrosted and used throughout the week too, if you find that it's too much effort to do it the moment of. But I would say whipping together a little bit of a toast and just pulling out some frozen blueberries from the freezer typically is not that difficult, especially compared to how much it would take to actually put together a healthier dessert option, right? So I hope this video was helpful, and thank you so much for watching Healthy Made Simple. I really do hope that my channel provides you inspiration, ideas, and ways to make healthy eating really simple for you. Easy ways of incorporating healthier options and healthier alternatives for your week. Thanks again for staying tuned. Please be on the lookout for future videos and make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so to help my channel grow. Thanks again, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.